If you look at AI and go back to the first thing that we said, AI is a 5-layer cake. Let's just always simplify. It's not quite this simplistic, but let's simplify AI into a 5 or 10 energy chips, infrastructure, models, and applications. Okay, and let's handicap it across from bottom to top at the lowest level, energy. China has twice the amount of energy we have as a nation. We also know that one of the most important initiatives, one of the most important policies of this administration. And there was a first thing that President Trump said to me when we met is, listen, we need to reindustrialize America. We need to onshore manufacturing again. We need to help America make things again. It's going to create jobs. That part of the economy has been shored up and offshored and completely gutted the United States. We need to bring that back. And he needs my help to do so and so. So that entire sector of the economy is missing. And however, without energy, how do we build chip plants, computer system plants, and these AI data centers? We call them AI factories. We're building simultaneously 3 different types of factories. And you know how states, chip factories, supercomputer factories, and AI factories, they all require energy, every single one of them. And so on the one hand, we want to reindustrialize the United States. How do you do that without energy? And so the fact that we vilified energy for so long, President Trump sticking his neck out and taking it on the chin and helping the country realize that energy is necessary for our growth is one of the greatest things he's done right off the bat. And so now at the energy level, back to that stack, we're 50% and they're growing straight up. We're kind of flat right now. And so number 1, energy. Number 2, chips. We're generations ahead. We are generations ahead on chips. And I think everybody recognizes that. Number 3, infrastructure. If you want to build a data center here in the United States, from breaking ground to standing up, a AI supercomputer is probably about 3 years. They can build a hospital on the weekend. That's a real challenge. And so at the infrastructure layer, their velocity of building things, because there are builders there, velocity of building things is extraordinarily high. Now, really quickly on chips, we're several generations ahead. But don't be complacent. Remember, semiconductors is a manufacturing process. Anybody who thinks China can't manufacture is missing a big idea. But China discounts energy costs for a chip company by 50%. That's right. They provide free transportation for employees to come out to the factory. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, our energy cost is more expensive than theirs in the first place. And then they discount it 50%. And so we're probably call it 4 to 8 times the cost. Now, regarding the intense competition, I certainly want to address how we feel about it. I'm eager to discuss that. But first, let me handicap the next 2 layers. The larger the language, the model layer. United States Frontier Models unites. Our frontier models are unquestionably world-class. We are probably, call it 6 months ahead. However, out of the 1.4 million models, most of them are open source. China is well ahead, way ahead on open source. Now, the reason why open source is so important is because without open source, startups can thrive. University researchers can't do research. You can't teach AI. Scientists can't use AI. Basically, all of the industry around your economy have no ability to fundamentally advance themselves unless you have open source. Without Linux, where would we be without Kubernetes? Without PyTorch? All of these different types of technologies have made AI thrive are all open source. They are well ahead of us on open source. And then the layer above that, applications. So if you were to do a poll of their society and ours, and you ask them, is AI likely to do more good than harm? They're going to say, in their case, 80% would say, I will do more good than harm. In our case, it'll be the other way around. And so that tells you something that's very, very important. Socially, we need to be careful not to describe AI in these science fiction movie ways of describing AI and causing people so much concern. We want to be concerned but we also want to be practical. AI is about automation and that area. I think that we need to be careful not to fall behind in the application and the diffusion of AI, because in the end, whoever applies the technology first and most wins. That industrial revolution. As you know, electricity was invented in the UK, but the United States applied it faster, more broadly. And as a result, look where we are. And so we have to be a little mindful. So anyways, I just handicapped that stack, okay? And I don't think it's important when you're looking at AI not to see it as a holistic thing. It's really not about ChatGPT versus Deep Secret. You have to look at it across all of the stacks and across all of the industries. Does that make sense? It's a little bit more complicated than one simple answer. First of all, America's technology industry, just as our financial services industry, our military, our technology industry, we can all agree are the mightiest in the world. I am part of one of the mightiest industries anyone in history has ever seen. So we have going toe-to-toe against anyone. The American technology industry has nothing to fear. We are mighty, we're fast, we're inventive, we'll take anybody on. However, we can't concede the market to them. As you know, at the moment, NVIDIA has been banned from going to China. Not to mention China has banned NVIDIA going to China. And so we're this, I think we're the first company in history that has been banned on both sides. And so whoever banned us going to China, them in China agree that NVIDIA should not go ahead. Now, of course, I'm being a little cute here, and I'll be a little bit more nuanced here in a second. But at the moment, we're simply not competing in China. Now what's going on? We have conceded essentially the second largest AI market, the second largest technology market in the world. I know China will, somebody has said to me, well, yeah, okay, well, we're not in China, but we're in growth somewhere else. You're not going to replace China. It's just around the world wanting to sell to America. And they want to export to America if they don't export to America. You're not going to replace the United States. We are singular in the world. We're absolutely singular. And so in the case of China, we shouldn't concede the entire market to them. They're formidable. But conceding that entire market, we had to go compete for it. Having said that, we should also acknowledge that Huawei is one of the most formidable technology companies that the world has ever seen. They deserve, although they have a lot of support, whatever support they have, they deserve all of the respect that everybody ought to give them. We compete with this company. They're formidable. They're agile. They move incredibly fast. We said if the United States was not in China, China's AI industry would be set back. Absolutely has not happened. As a result, there's semiconductor industry has double. The semiconductor industry in the West around the world is growing at 230% per year, growing 230% per year compounded versus doubling every year compound. It doesn't take long to catch up. But, they're starting on second base and we're just going up to the batter's box. They've got a real advantage. And that means we need to think about this. They're smart about technology proliferation. If we use 5G as an example, they realize 5G is technology that's also a platform, because on top of 5G, you build all kinds of services on top of it. Well, if you get there first, wherever you get first, if you get there first, just as NVIDIA, I was there 25 years first. And so I had, for a long time, nobody paid me any, never mind. So I had lots and lots of time to build up all these ecosystems and applications and relationships and ecosystems. And I connected all this stuff together in all these different fields of industry, 25 years to do it. In the case of OneWay with 5G, they were completely through policy, completely isolated. People thought in China. So they had 1 billion phone users, all but to themselves. It gave them the opportunity to grow scale. They exported the technology to all of the countries of Belt and Road, and now there's AI, Belt and Road. And so they'll definitely diffuse the Chinese technology as quickly as possible, because they understand that the sooner you get there, the sooner you build the ecosystem on top. The sooner you become sticky, you become essential. A dependent part of that ecosystem. Take a step back again. Remember, I think it's like 9 out of the 10 top science and technology schools in the world are now in China. They lead in science and technology in many different fields. This has completely flipped in the last half to a decade, and we used to lead most of them. Now they lead most of them. They have a large population of highly qualified students, number one. Number two, 50% of the world's AI researchers are Chinese. Third, 70% of last year's AI patents are published by China. The ecosystem of AI in China is vibrant, rich, incredibly innovative. They work incredibly hard. This is a country with an enormous mind. So that is the ecosystem of software developers. Now that layer, as I just mentioned, the model and the application layer, all of these scientists, they're sitting at the model and the application layer. And now they're going to take that capability because the United States is no longer participating in China. We've left China, evacuated the market. We've conceded that market. And so now they've got to go build their own. So using these AI researchers, all of these incredible computer scientists, that they have the richness of software capability, and they're going to go build their own complete stack. Once they build an entire complete stack, they'll export it, as quickly as you could imagine. And this is the world we will find someday if we don't activate, we'll be buyers.